Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time, Wherein and Hisao shared their first ever cigarettes as they laid on the floor of an art studio gazing through a skylight. And now, we're taking Wherein somewhere in the city. The pale streetlights fight against the all-enveloping darkness as we walk together, the guide and the guided, although neither knows the destination. But it doesn't matter. This is the one moment where the usual silences that have become a ritual between me and Wherein at last fit perfectly. We walk side by side, choosing directions on impulse or inspiration. Sometimes we find ourselves back at a street we'd already seen once or twice. Sometimes we find new streets. All of them look asleep. Wherein doesn't ask where we're going. Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she knows I don't have an answer. The silence of the night isn't scary. After all, the lights drive most of it away. The air grows colder as the moon progresses along its journey in the cloudless sky. Few cars roam the streets at this hour, and even fewer people are on the sidewalk. The apparent lack of nocturnal life is somehow befitting of this place. There are around-the-clock shops and cafes, sure, but the atmosphere is like the town itself is slumbering. A town that sleeps 8 hours a day. The city I grew up in, bathed in the electric glow of a million light bulbs, never slept. I have seen it for myself. It's not the first time I've done this. It happened one of the first times I was home alone. Both of my parents had business trips that neither could cancel, so they deemed me old enough to survive 2 days on my own. Their misplaced trust in me did not go to waste, as I proceeded to spend the entire night out walking around the city. Even afterwards, I couldn't say what made me stay downtown longer than I intended after school. I didn't feel like going home, so I stayed through the entire evening and eventually through the entire night. I walked long concentric circles around a landmark chosen at random. For some reason, the nighttime city felt fascinating. So, I walked its streets. At every intersection, it was possible to choose your direction at random because they all led nowhere. The aimless wandering made me see things differently. I hope it'll do the same for Wherein. We stopped to buy some hot coffee and snacks from a vending machine, and then locate a bench where we sit down to eat. There's no time in the night of the town, so we spend an unknown amount of it just sitting there, observing the stillness of the usually vivid townscape. Still, it's getting very late, and soon it'll be getting very early. So, is this it? Hearing Whereин's voice surprises me. She doesn't sound bored. Rather, her tone is inquisitive, uncertain as to why I dragged her out here, yet curious to find out the answer. Yeah. Have you ever been out all night? It's like a different world. The remark sends her thinking for a while, looking around as if she was looking for something. The wisps of light, reflecting from the corners of her eyes, are suddenly very sharp. It's not a different world. It's the same, just asleep. What do you think this town is dreaming of? Maybe something like car sheep or building sheep. Why are dreams always about sheep? I've never seen a sheep-related dream that I can remember. Do different towns dream of different things? Probably. How could they not? I answer half joking, half spurring her on. For the first time tonight, it seems like a bit of Reen's life has returned to her. She doesn't continue her list of rhetorical questions, though. Instead, she leans back a little and looks up at the moon traveling above the town. The cool breeze blowing between the buildings seems to steal the conversation away before it even really begins. It's too bad. It looked like Reen would get out of her blue mood. I wish I could somehow know the right thing to say, but I realize I can't. 6-minute mark. But I realize I can't do that the way I am now. I'm too far apart from Reen. I haven't really managed to crack her open. She's just too complicated. It's like she's open to everything, equally disinterested in everything from the outset. In truth, she's locked tighter than anyone else I know, even myself. Sometimes she locks herself inside that inner world, shutting everything else out. At other times, her thoughts flow freely from her mind, but not organized in any fashion that would make them intelligible to the rest of the world. What comes out in the form of paintings I can't interpret. To me, it's just a sea of colors and shapes, not a message. She's too far away. I now know it was a bad idea to try to reach for her in the way I did, but I can't help liking her. I look at the fingers of my right hand, trying to remember what Reen's lips felt like against them. Do you ever feel like you're trying to reach out for something that's impossible to reach? Reen turns her gaze to me, tilting her head quizzically. I wonder if she understands the meaning of my own rhetorical question or not. Either way, I like how I can manage to catch her attention just by speaking aloud nowadays. All the time. At least I think so. That's what painting feels like. A lot of the time. Or all of the time. I don't know. Sometimes I get the feeling that I can really paint what I want. Sometimes it feels like it's just another shadow of me, like a mirror that doesn't work right. Like talking? Maybe. When I was little, I didn't really have friends. Maybe it's the same now. The only things I liked were pens and paints. They were the only things that understood me. Now it feels like that is going away too. Change really is a scary thing. I wish I could understand you. She looks at me melancholically, roused by my thoughts materializing as words spoken aloud. Me too. Whatever she meant she wished for me to understand her. Her to understand me, or her to understand herself, I never ask, nor do I find out. I see her eyes searching for mine, serious and cryptic as they are. I'm not getting any explanation from there. Don't worry about it. I will. Small hints of a smile are wavering on her lips. When she's like this, it makes me feel that maybe there's hope for us. We get along so well for being so different. It's just that we never really get along precisely because we are so different. Maybe it was Reen's passionate approach to her own art exhibition, or perhaps my own careless words, but last week was different from usual. The small friction between us seems to be somewhat volatile, but at least we now seem to be back to normal. Relatively speaking. We stand up from the bench and pick yet another direction in which to go. The wee hours of night slowly pass by as we measure the streets of the town, one step at a time. We are finally at ease, not minding the rare, lone passerby, the eerie darkness, each other, ourselves. Reen's steps seem lighter, like the heavy air around her is letting go a little. It makes me feel happy. We don't talk, save for the single remarks that are spoken into the night of the town and never answered. The details jump into the eye instead of being the usual blur they are during the day. As the sky above the town changes from deep, dark blue to gray, I know that our night is soon ending. It's almost morning. Reen looks up too and nods at me. It's true. The coming light of morning is creeping through the sky, climbing higher by the minute. It feels surreal. The sun won't come up for a while, but I get the feeling that the end of this night really is here and now. Should we head back? Reen nods again, twice, her hair waving in the breeze that seems to be heralding the coming dawn. Abruptly, she takes off, taking the lead in this walkabout on which I'd brought her. It seems she really is in a better mood. This too makes me feel happy. Reen's navigational skills are probably not much better than mine, but we eventually find ourselves in front of Say's place. I don't know if this was any help. I did this once before, but it was more because of a stupid impulse or maybe restlessness back then. Maybe this was a silly idea and didn't really help you at all. She just nods as an answer. So, do you know how you're going to destroy yourself now? I have some ideas. I don't want to see you for a while. Don't come and see me. Do something else. Her ultimatum catches me completely off guard. What the hell? What's that about? You said before that you didn't mind. I mind now. It's just for a while. I have to do this alone. I don't like that. Why? I don't want it to go like this. Why? I just don't want to feel this distance between you and me. She tilts her head like a bird, her eyes narrowing a little as she thinks. Then you can touch me. Okay. What? You can touch me if you want. You'd feel better, right? I don't know. Try. Where do you want me to touch you? No boobs or a left ear. Other than that, you can decide. Wherein, you incomprehensible woman. No boobs or left ear. It is a very, very specific set of places not to touch. Fair enough? Fine. I raise my hand hesitantly, even though I don't know why I'm actually doing this. Her eyes tell me that she's not going to explain. 1,000 thoughts race through my head as I slowly bring my hand closer to Reen's face and press 3 fingers against her pale cheek. Wherein feels soft and cold. She closes her eyes on contact and visibly relaxes. I can feel her soft breathing, her muscles releasing tension as my fingertips caress her cheek. She doesn't rest her head against my palm or anything else you'd expect a girl to do in this sort of situation. In fact, she hasn't reacted at all, save for those now shut eyes. Once I withdraw my hand, she opens them again. It might be just an illusion created by the timid morning sunlight playing with my eyes, but Wherein looks like she's holding back a smile. This is the problem with our relationship. Half of the time, I have no idea what is going on, and the other half, I just fail to understand why things are going on like they are. As usual, I'm not going to get an explanation. Wherein merely takes a step towards the door. Damn you, right-click. See you later. Then she disappears from my reach for an undefined period of time. Time skip. Time skip. Time skip. How much time are we skipping? I hold true to my promise of honoring Whereин's request, even if it's against my own will. I try to redirect my focus into my studies, but end up zoning out during classes and doing only the minimum amount of work required. Still, I start looking into my post-high school options a bit more seriously. I pore over university brochures and various career paths. I'm good at studying, so I want to go to a university. I'm pretty sure I could get into a pretty decent one, too. The only problem is deciding which subject would be the best. Kenji ridicules me about subjecting myself to the control of feminist teachers when I tell him about trying to get into a university. I don't ask him about what he wants to do in the future. I wonder what Wherein thinks of her own future. I bet she's not as lost as I am. And if she is, it's probably in some completely different way. I feel somewhat disappointed in finding out that I can't stop thinking about her. Her request makes me worry about her and think about her more than I did when I could go and see her when I wanted. It bothers me that I can't. As expected, I eventually crack. Late one afternoon, I get on the bus heading downtown. I try to avoid explaining to myself exactly why I'm doing this, and keep thinking about other things for the entire duration of the trip. After a 5-minute walk, I'm standing in front of the gallery. I walk past it to the door of the atelier, but at the last moment, I lose my courage and continue on all the way to the next corner, at which point I turn back. Will Wherein hate me if I go and see her? I wonder what she's like when she's angry. I've never seen her angry. The worst thing would be if I actually ruined something by going to see her, like she seemed to imply would happen. There's no way that can be true, can there? It's just one of her quirks. I walk back down the street and end up passing the atelier door for the second time. Only this time, as I continue all the way to the gallery, its owner is standing just outside the door watching me.
I thought that was you! What are you doing?
I really don't want to explain the circumstances between Reen and me, so I get flustered and end up mumbling something unclear. She takes stock of me and then sighs deeply, looking wryly amused somehow. I hope she didn't misunderstand.
Would you like to come in? Your teacher's visiting. We were discussing Reen's exhibition.
Thanks for the invitation, but I really should...
Don't be shy now. Come on in.
I follow Sei inside, finding that our art teacher indeed is there. Nomiya is standing at the big desk, contemplating what looks like an invitation card.
Look what the cat dragged in.
Nakai! Hello there, my boy! He doesn't seem to be at all fazed by my appearance.
How do you like the invitations?
I glance at them quickly. They're kind of fancy, with one of Reen's paintings printed on the front cover in shiny gold writing. They look fine to me. They're magnificent! I absolutely love the design. The embossed gold lettering, fabulous! Good print work, too. You have to tell me where you get these done. What does Reen think?
I haven't asked. She said she'd be fine with my decision anyway.
Nomiya laughs boisterously, still turning the gold-lettered card in his hands. That's my girl. She wants to focus on the essentials only. Good for her.
Her work is progressing well, too. It seems she's found new inspiration.
I think she's been sort of weird lately. It's like she's wrestling with something. With herself, probably. And it makes her confused. She said that she had a hard time painting the last time I saw her.
It seems to be resolved now, however.
You know, she practically lives up there, right? Lives up there now, right? Sei makes a simple gesture with her hand, as if sweeping my question aside.
Sure.
Don't you think that's weird?
Maybe it is. Still, I think she understands how big an opportunity this is, and is going for it full throttle.
Is it really that big? Nomiya sets the card down and brushes some imaginary dust off his jacket. Well, how should I put it? There are times in everyone's lives where something really big washes over you and changes you forever. This could be just that moment for Tezuka. I see. Yeah, I think I've had something like that happen to me. I'm referring to the incident that brought me to Yamaku. Neither of the two adults comments on that, however. It might well be that everyone has, or will. At any rate, surrendering oneself to art is a big decision, and a thorny path, too. Quite thorny indeed. Tezuka has almost everything one needs, but whether she has the will to pull through, that's a different question. I should know that best. I tried going down this path too, but turned away in the end. I don't understand what he's trying to say. I mean, what? How should I respond to that? Why did you turn away? Why did you stop exactly? You've mentioned that before. Oh, that's a long story. Nomiya throws a sideways glance at the gallery owner. 25-minute mark. There's another yawn. Nomiya throws a sideways glance at the gallery owner, who has drawn her mouth into a thin, straight line. I've had a life-changing experience like that, even though I didn't realize it until later. Did I tell you that Sei and I have known each other for a long time? We studied at the same school. It's been... goodness, how long has it really been?
Please don't count the years, Shinichi.
Maybe you're right. At any rate, when we were in school, we had this, friend, I should say. We were in the same program, and I think he met Sei at some party. I got to know Sei through him, in fact. He was a spectacular artist, much like Tezuka. Great talent despite the young age. He easily left the rest of us in his dust. We were good friends, he and I, but there were things that created friction in the friendship. It felt like I was watching him from afar.
You weren't the only one.
Nomiya coughs, looking embarrassed. At any rate, he, ended up taking his own life. Such a tragedy. In retrospect, that was what made me choose a career as a teacher in the end. No, damn you, right-click. I never was that brilliant, nor that passionate. I desperately wanted to be a career artist, but I wasn't suited for that.
You were good enough.
Perhaps I would have been, but this is what I've ended up with. I just didn't have that drive after he was gone. I'm fond of kids and enjoy all forms of art, so it felt rather natural to take this path in life. But I think all that history with that friend of ours was the key thing. As sad as it was, a turning point, as they say. Sei stands up and digs in the pocket of her jacket for a cigarette and a lighter. Her hands are shaking.
I'm going out for a smoke.
Wordlessly, Nomiya and I both decide to follow her after a moment. It's already dark outside. Sei is standing with her back to us, taking sharp, occasional drags on her cigarette. Its weak amber glow illuminates her face, framing her sharp jawline. Maybe it's best to call it a night. I can give you a lift back to school if you want, Nakai.
You're not going anywhere, Shinichi. I need a drink. We're going to that place at the corner.
The teacher looks at the old lady and then shrugs at me apologetically. It's no problem. I'll just catch the bus back. I'm headed upstairs to see if Wherein will come back to school with me anyway. I think she's been staying overnight here too often lately. Sei locks the front door of the gallery and links arms with the old art teacher. I feel strange looking at them. I wonder what it feels like to have friends who you've been with for decades, for most of your life. I can't imagine it. The two of them start making their way down the street, towards the bar on the corner, so I quickly head upstairs to the atelier door, ready to get to what I originally came here for. I climb upstairs and enter carefully. The room is dark because of the quickly falling night, but I can see Wherein, or rather her silhouette, sitting on the floor. So she's got her inspiration back, like Sei said, and moved from easel to painting on the floor. Before I manage 5 steps, I stop, frozen in my tracks. The ironic realization that human cognitive ability is commendable echoes through my mind. From a mere movement of her shadow, it took me a fraction of a second to realize something is awry, process what I'm seeing, formulate the answer, and blush all the way to the tips of my ears. Wherein is sitting on the floor with her legs under her. She moves in rhythmical motions back and forth, slowly grinding herself against herself. Okay. Her breathing is so heavy, it's almost visible in the dim light. It's the heavy painting of one who doesn't have the option of breathing gracefully. Her hips, mere shadows against the dim light shining on her from above, are swinging circularly over and over again. She hasn't noticed me, so engrossed is she in her activity. Understandable. I'm past my threshold where I could jump to a new episode. I think I will keep going so I can get all of this interesting scene into one. The deadlock solves itself before I get a chance to think what to do next. Something in the atmosphere of the room changes. A little thing, not consciously noticeable, but it changes. Perhaps a timid current from the open door, or a minute change in air pressure. The sound of my breathing, even though I notice I haven't taken a breath for many, many seconds. The aura of my presence. That something catches Whereine's senses. She stops moving, freezes, and slowly turns to the door. I imagine, not see, the horror on her face, like a fawn's eyes staring at a hunter. I wonder if Wherein can see my expression, but at least she doesn't have the strength of the spirit to look straight in my eyes. So, she droops her chin against her chest, letting her mess of a hair hide her face from me even further. I feel like I should either walk out or walk to her, but I can't do either. Just say sorry and leave. Sal, it's time for you to peace out of there, okay? I told you to stay away. Her words are defeated, painful, as if she was suffering. Wherein doesn't have anything other than her shirt on. I can see the last wisps of the twilight against the pale skin of her thighs and bottom. There's no way I can back off anymore. I lost that chance, so I do the next best thing. I quickly avert my gaze, even though Wherein doesn't see what I'm looking at. I'm sorry. I didn't think. It's not like that. Her voice is raspy, shivering from held-back tears or something else. She's shaking, looking like she is physically in pain. It's not like that. I had no idea what it really means to change, but I know now you have no idea what I've had to do and all the things that pass through, and I think I forget I really don't. They just build up inside and grow and grow and grow, till they flow out like a flow of everything that has ever been wrong. I can't take it. I can't think of the things I want, because there's only so many things that I can think. 4, 6, 7, doesn't matter. It's never enough. I have to let this out. I have to destroy, forget it, and nothing else. Wherein is mumbling her words into the air more than talking to me. Is it the rambling, ranting, raving speech of a lunatic, even and steady in tone, but taking the form of a never-ending stream of words, almost simultaneously spawning from between her lips? It feels like she forgot it is me who is present, or that someone actually is present. Maybe she vaguely recognizes what is real and what is not. Maybe in her mind, I'm a voice inside her head. I look down at Reen's sorry figure, cowering on the floor with only the white shirt of her usual attire on. It neither preserves her modesty that is gone, nor her body warmth that she doesn't seem to care about. She looks more broken than I imagined a human person being capable of, and the hospital and school have given me some real perspective on that. I remember the hazy blue smoke, and myself wondering what Reen would do for the sake of art. The realization that Reen really is always serious hits me with its entire weight. She really and truly would destroy herself if her art required it. I thought she was so silly with her strange ways, talking about personal change as if it was something sudden and concrete, like waking up. I had no idea. This is her, laid bare in front of my eyes in all possible meanings of the word. Complete isolation here in the top floor of this building, in this room, in her mind. Day after day, working on her paintings with no heed paid to anything else. Breaking herself to reach that which she wishes to reach. This obscene act that she does for reasons I'm not sure she herself understands. Why does she have to do this? I'm trying to connect the pieces, but I don't understand. I feel sad, scared, excited, disgusted, worried, and a number of emotions I can't remember the name of now. I feel conflicted. I should go. I'm really sorry. Good boy, Hisao. That is the proper way to respond to this situation. It doesn't matter. My voice is dry and quiet, like sandpaper coming out of my throat. I really am sorry. Sorry for seeing this. I don't want to see Reen like this. All I can see is her sadness, her stress and despair. Is this what a limit means? How could Seiya let Reen go this far? Or is it me who is to blame? I almost walk out right there. But at the last moment I turn around, steel myself and walk to Reen to crouch behind her and lightly touch her forehead. She doesn't resist or react. I can't leave her like this. She's not well. She feels like she has a fever, freezing cold and burning hot at the same time. I wonder if she got sick staying out all night with me back then. It seems she's prone to getting ill. There's a blanket on the couch, but I wrap my arms around Reen instead of fetching it. She does not resist my clumsy hug, only slumps her head lower, deepening the shadows hiding her face from me. What are you doing? Nothing. I am not embracing her out of love nor out of forgiveness. For am I in love? Or is she sorry? I just want to hug her. For a moment, the only sound in the room is her heavy breathing. My body warmth, shared between two people, is barely enough, but slowly, painfully slowly, it spreads from me to her. The small warmth returning to Reen makes me more conscious of her body against mine. Even in the darkness, I can feel the fleeting scent of Reen's hair, the sweat on her skin, the dried paint stuck in her shirt. I feel the hardness of her bones and the softness of her flesh. Her heartbeats echoing mine, out of rhythm just like always. The hot blood rushing inside me reminds me why I said what I said back then, why I came here even after that, why I am here again tonight. Why am I hugging her now to keep her safe? Why I am hugging her now to keep her safe against the cold and the sadness. Reen has really grown on me inside my heart, claiming a small part of it as her own, without even particularly trying. Reen. Even if she wanted to push me away, I can't help this feeling. Are you all right, Reen? I'm not. I think I broke. I painted some really good things. Incredible. But it hurt me. I can't handle this. Her voice cuts out, as there are no more words for her to say. It's not an angry voice, nor a sad voice. It is a lifeless voice. I pet her head and shoulders, the physical equivalent of saying there. It's not like I could reassure her with the sweet nothings that people are supposed to say in this kind of situation. I'm not sure if she would even listen or be reassured. She didn't react much to my embrace either, as if she didn't care. Maybe she doesn't. At least, she doesn't care if she looks sad or not. There are no facades, no attempts to explain herself, no faux happiness. Reen is honest. Hisao. What is it? You're my friend, right? Right. Will you do me a favor? I can't fix this, but I'm not finished yet. Her dry voice is a mere whisper, but the strength, her last, is in it, delivering her meaning much more clearly than her words. I can feel Reen's heart beating against my chest like a scared little bird. Her entire body is shivering from her fever, from her fear, from her despair. My brain is fast becoming overloaded with the myriad of thoughts this encounter spawned, but I have to push them all aside. I snuggle my nose against her earlobe, which is soft and cold, and her hair which smells good and tickles me. All right, I'll do it. I whisper in her ear reassuringly, trying to make her calm down. It works at least halfway, as Reen closes her eyes and leans against me as if searching for comfort from my warmth. But this is not something that friends should do. We can't be friends anymore. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just relax. Even though I said that, I'm on the verge of breaking myself. If I wasn't so nervous, I would laugh at my own nervousness. She wants to be comforted, and I want to comfort her. But in this way, I move my hand lower, touching the naked skin of her stomach, caressing Wherein with my hand. Her muscles contract timidly, evading my touch, but soon they find their trust in me and relax. How much more of this am I actually going to be able to throw out on a non-age restricted video? I guess we're going to find out. Okay, so going to assume that's one of the pieces of adult content that has just been removed. Wherein gasps for breath like she's drowning, returning to reality because she has no other choice. Good boy, Hisao. Maybe not the best circumstances for this, but I mean, I can understand young love. Her entire body is still in the throes of the slowly dying moment. Pearls of sweat are glistening on her forehead. Still, I have to say, kudos to the creators. I think that was actually a very, what's the word I want to use? I think that was a very tasteful cut to avoid adult content. I am feeling my own heat inside of me, but now the spur of the moment is gone, and I don't know what to say to Wherein, who is panting, hot and ecstatic in my arms. So I also, because of this, don't have the full context for exactly what activities we just engaged in. And I don't know how to finish that line of thinking in an appropriate tone. I do not believe that there was any actual sex that just occurred. If I had to guess what had just happened in that scene, I would assume that Hisao used digital penetration in order to bring Wherein to climax. That is what I gathered the situation was building up to, and given that we're sort of coming out of it back into this scene, that does seem to be what the context has implied. So, without having additional contradictory information, that is what I will proceed with assuming happened. And I only say that because, for all I know, the specific contexts of these encounters may be important to know for future scenes. Her shirt, wet with sweat, is glued to her back, revealing hints of her shoulder blades and waistline. She feels limp, weak, exhausted. I reach out for the blanket and wrap it around her and me. Wherein doesn't resist me. She is drained of all strength. What will happen now? I don't know. Nothing, I suppose. You look tired. I am tired. It feels strange. Like I lost something. I mean something else than my marital purity. Okay, that would tend to suggest that we actually had sex. Don't say something like that. Neither of those things. I don't want to lose you. What does that mean? I'm not going anywhere. I'm afraid that you are. All the time. that moment, I felt that it was not only Reen who lost something of hers. I felt like I was losing a part of myself, or maybe all of me. But if you were to ask what it was that I lost, I couldn't say, because I had already forgotten it. That does sound more like it's suggesting a true, full sexual encounter occurred. I broke another promise by coming out with my honest feelings to Reen. That's 2 in one day. I hate the distance between you and me. So every time it gets a little bit closer, I become afraid of losing it. That's weird. I guess so. Do you mind if I sleep a little? No, I guess you don't. You like watching, don't you? She closes her eyes and swallows with a loud gulp, trying to relax herself, fighting against the urge to paint. Yes. Yes, I do. Reen moves her body in my arms, searching for a comfortable position in our very uncomfortable position. She leans against me, closing her eyes, and lets one last long breath out before settling into the steady rhythm of sleep. With her last moment of awareness, she whispers something to me, but I can't hear it. Reen drifts deeper into sleep with a deep sigh that releases all remaining tension from her muscles. I try to shift around to place both of us more comfortably. It takes a while because I don't want to wake up Reen, even though she probably wouldn't. But eventually, I find a position I am somewhat comfortable with. I lean against the soft cushions of the couch and breathe in the cool air of the atelier. Reen's head rests against my chest as if she were listening to my heartbeats. Echoes of her dream ripple as small twitches on her face, like a cat sleeping the mouse hunter's dream. The full moon, shining her pale light upon us from beyond the skylight, reflects a blank canvas standing forgotten on the easel. Its whiteness is glowing against the dark night of the atelier. And I think that's as far as we go tonight. And I will see you all on the next one.